guys, welcome to our new vlog, and for today's topic, I am going to talk about the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, which is known as PEZA. I am going to talk about its definition, its tax obligation or mostly its incentives, and lastly, the forms required to be filed once you are already a PEZA registered entity. But before I start, please make sure you have subscribed to our channel and click that notification bell below to be updated on our new videos. So now let's start with the definition. Philippine Economic Zone Authority promotes the establishment of economic zones in the Philippines for foreign investments. PEZA is also the Philippine government agency tasked to extend assistance, register, grant incentives to, and facilitate the business operations of investors in export-oriented manufacturing and service facilities inside selected areas throughout the country proclaimed by the President of the Philippines as PEZA Special Economic Zones. So that is the definition of PEZA. Now, let's go with its tax obligations or more on its incentives. According to Revenue Regulations number 11-2005 Section 3, gross income of PEZA registered entities shall refer to gross sales or gross revenues derived from business activity within the ecozone. Net of sales discounts, sales returns and allowances, and minus cost of sales or direct costs, but before any deduction is made for administrative, marketing, selling, and or operating expenses or incidental losses during a given taxable period. So, kung makikita nyo dyan sa screen, yung nasa baba, that is the breakdown to get the gross income for PEZA registered entities. In addition to this regulation, it also includes the list of direct costs allowable to be deducted in order to arrive at gross income. Ito siya. For purposes of computing the total 5% tax rate imposed, yung SCIT, Special Corporate Income Tax, the following direct costs are included in the allowable deductions to arrive at gross income earned for specific type of enterprises. So, type siya ng enterprises. Number 1, for ecozone export enterprises, free trade enterprises, and domestic enterprises, ito yung mga allowable sa kanila to be deducted in order to arrive at their gross income. Ayan, lahat yan. While for number 2 naman, for ecozone developer or operator, facilities, utilities, and tourism enterprises, ito yung breakdown ng mga allowable direct costs allowable to be deducted sa kanila. So that is all for the Revenue Regulations number 11-2005. The next one is the fiscal incentives of PEZA registered entity. In the official website of PEZA, it enumerates the fiscal incentives they provide to its registered entities by virtue of the Special Economic Zone Act under RA 7916 and the recent Act RA 1153-4, the Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentives for Enterprises, which is widely known as the CREATE Act. The first one on their list is granting income tax holiday of 4 to 7 years depending in location and industry priorities of export enterprises. The table below shows the period of availment of incentives categorized based on their location and industry priorities. So there are 3 locations, yung NCR, metropolitan areas or areas contiguous or adjacent to NCR, and the all other areas. The industry priorities is also divided into 3 tiers. Ano-ano yung mga tier na yon? The tier 1 are the activities that have high potential for job creation, take place in sectors with market failures resulting in under-provision of basic goods and services, generate value creation through innovation, upgrading, or moving up the value chain, provide essential support for sectors that are critical to industrial development and are emerging owing to potential comparative advantage. For Tier 2, these are the activities that produce supplies, parts and components, and intermediate services that are not locally produced but are critical to industrial development and import substituting activities including crude oil refining. And lastly, for Tier 3, the activity shall include research and development resulting in demonstrably significant value added, higher productivity, improved efficiency, breakthroughs in science and health, and high-paying jobs, generation of new knowledge and intellectual property registered and or licensed in the Philippines, commercialization of patents, industrial designs, copyrights, and utility models owned or co-owned by a registered business enterprise, highly technical manufacturing, or are critical in the structural transformation of the economy and require substantial catch-up efforts. So that are the three tiers categorized on the table. Now, let's go back to the table. Kung mapapansin niyo po, for all tiers in different location, after they are granted with income tax holiday, same lang yung years na pwede sila mag-grant ng SCIT or Enhanced Deduction. But on their income tax holiday, dun na may difference. For tier 1 in NCR, they are granted of 4 years. Then for Metropolitan, under Tier 1 pa rin, 5 years, while for the all other area, 6 years naman. For Tier 2, additional 1 year for each location naman. And lastly, on Tier 3, for NCR, 6 years, and for Metropolitan and other areas, they may be both granted 7 years. The second one on PEZA's list of fiscal incentives is after income tax holiday, the ITH, export enterprises can avail a 5% special corporate income tax or enhanced deductions for 10 years. Gaya nga ng nakita nyo sa table na sinabi ko rin kanina, after ng income tax holiday, kaya sila ITH plus SCIT or ED. Ganun siya. So, pwede silang mamili kung ano sa dalawa ang i-avail na incentive. So, kung pipiliin nila yung special corporate income tax, that would be 5% of their gross income. While kung pipiliin naman nila yung enhanced deduction, the examples of an enhanced deduction is deducting a percentage on your expenses, like 50% deductions on salaries incurred, or additional deduction on depreciation allowable for assets acquired for production, and many more. When a PEZA registered entity availed the 5% SCIT, the breakdown is also shown on the screen. So, ayan siya. The 3% will be remitted to the national government, while the 2% will be to the treasury of the host, LGU, kung saan nakatayo or naka-establish yung entity. The breakdown of the 2% na mapupunta with the LGU can be read on Republic Act No. 7916, Section 24. And this is what. So, ayun, yung 1% of the 2% na na-remit is for the local government units affected by the declaration of the ecozone in proportion to their population, land area, and equal sharing factors. And the 1% remaining is for the establishment of a development fund to be utilized for the development of municipalities outside and contiguous to each ecozone, provided, however, that the respective share of the affected local government units shall be proportioned or determined on the basis of the following formula. So, population 50%, land area 25%, and then equal sharing 25%. Ayun yung breakdown nung last 1% na i-remit from the SCIT. So for number 3, tax and duty-free importation of capital equipment, raw materials, spare parts, or accessories. So the tax and duty free imports here should be directly and exclusively used in the registered project or activity. The capital equipment, raw materials, spare parts, or accessories should be reasonably needed in the operation. Number 4, VAT exemption on importation and VAT zero rating on local purchases for goods and services directly or exclusively used in the registered project or activity of export enterprise for the period of registration of the said project or activity. So, number 4 states that PEZA registered entity are entitled to VAT exemption on their imports and are subject to zero-rated VAT on local purchases. Yeah. And just a trivia on the VAT zero rating on local purchases, may inilabas ang BIR na revenue regulation regarding that. Yung Revenue Regulations number 9-2021. So, last year lang yun, which directed certain local purchases to be subject to 12%. But it was suspended in Revenue Regulations number 15-2021. So now, let's wait for an update on this on the official website of BIR as to what percentage should be really used. Kasi may mga nagreklamo din na mga PEZA registered entities about this one. Kasi zero rated sila, tapos biglang magkakaroon ng 12% yung local importation. Yung local purchases nila. So, wait tayo ng update. Number 5, domestic sales allowance of up to 30% of total sales. PEZA registered entities may sell domestically but with an allowance of up to 30%. The 70% should be purely on exportation na. And lastly, number 6, exemption from payment of local government taxes and fees for the duration of the period of availment of the 5% SCIT incentive. They are exempted from payment of local government taxes and fee during the availment lang ng 5% SCIT incentive. In summary of the incentives list down, here's an illustration of the difference which I also got on PEZA's official website. So this is the difference of a PEZA and non-PEZA entity. So for PEZA, the under fiscal incentives, they have 100% exemption and 4 to 6 year initial income tax holiday. Yun, depending on the type of enterprise, yung number 1 kanina. Na magiging 5% special tax on gross income. Thereafter, yan siya. Then, for non-PEZA naman, for the tax rates and permits, they are subject to 30% corporate tax rate. And for PEZA again, they are exempted from all national and local taxes, including local business tax and real property tax. But on non-PEZA, they are subject to 0% local business tax and then 2% for real property tax, assessed property value. Yun. And regarding their VAT, so PEZA registered entity are subject to 0%, so zero rated VAT on local purchases, while the non-PEZA registered entities are subject to 12% VAT. For PEZA again, they are exempted from payment of local government payments and fees. Yan. But on non-PEZA, payments and fees are on government permits and applications, so may babayaran pagka non-PEZA registered. For the tax and duty, they are free from importation, the PEZA registered entity, while the non-PEZA will be granted tax for under tax and duty tariffs. So, may tariff pa sila. And now, let's go to the last part of this video. So, forms. Here are just some forms for compliance once you are a PEZA registered entity. The monthly or the monthly or quarterly or annual PEZA reports. So, kapag din-download nyo siya, usually ganito yung file name niya. Yan yung sa pang monthly, quarterly, and then sa annual. Then, the other one is the other income. So, ayan yung file name niya. And lastly is the data on revenues and taxes paid. So, ito yung file name niya. So, I have focused on these three kasi ito yung nandun sa requirement ng PEZA. Once you have successfully registered as a PEZA registered entity, you are required to submit this kind of form. So, let's go on the first part, the monthly PEZA report. So, ayan, nasa screen na din yung deadline kung kailan yung deadline ng submission niya sa PEZA. So, ito yung pinaka i-fill out with the monthly performance report. So, papakita ko muna sa inyo kung ano yung itsura ng monthly performance report. So, ayan siya. So, this report is in an Excel format. Kaya, before nyo yan makikita, ito munang unang sheet. So, kung makikita nyo sa taas, yung nakabilog. Reminder, please read the instructions tab before filling out this form or filling out this form. And note that fill out the white boxes only. So, ayang mga naka-white box lang daw ang i-fill out. So, ano ba yung laman ng instruction form? So, once you open this template na given naman ng PEZA mismo, so, ida-download mo lang and then i-fill out mo lang siya. Ito yung pinakaunang makikita nyo, yung instructions tab. So, ayan, nandyan yung instructions kung paano i-fill out. So, fill out the white boxes lang dun sa data entry form worksheet. So, yung data entry form is yung nakita nyo kanina. So, ayun yung pinaka-final output once na nag-generate kayo ng monthly PEZA report. So, use the appropriate enterprise codes found in the code sheet. So, the code sheet contains the enterprises codes. So, may mga codes kasi yung nakalagay dun sa i-fill out yung mamaya. Then, save the file using its original format. So, ayun, original format lang and not as XLSX or any later versions of Excel. And the submission of files are also included here. So, may dalawang ways to submit. For current submissions, upload the file using the online submission facility. Yes, PEZA is now online na din yung submission niya. Some of its submission are online na din. And letter B, for amendments and late submissions, attach one file per amended period and send through email. So, yung mga may amendment lang or late submission, sila lang yung required na mag-email dun sa nakalagay ditong email. So, ayan, yung email address niya, nakalagay naman for amendments and late submission. Pero kung regular or current submission naman yan and within the deadline, kailangan yung mag-sign up for an account. So, ayan, sa Economic Zone Monthly Report Online Submission. So, i-click nyo lang yan, then sign up for an account. So, kung may account na kayo, login na lang kayo. And then, upload the file. As simple as that. So, ito naman yung next sheet niya, or next tab. So, notes and definitions on the Economic Monthly Performance Report. So, kung new ka lang with submission of monthly PEZA report, it is important na mabasa nyo itong part na ito. Kasi dito naka-define lahat ng words na nakalagay dun sa i-fill out nyo sa data worksheet, data entry worksheet. So, ayan. So, once na nabasa nyo na yung notes and definitions on the Economic Zone Monthly Performance Report, that's the time na you can fill out the form na. You can go directly to the form na, ayun siya, dun sa data worksheet and answer all the necessary boxes na nag-a-apply sa entity nyo. So that is all for the monthly PEZA report, and now let's go with the quarterly PEZA report. So the deadline of submission of this is 45 days after the end of the quarter. So this one naman is a document file. So ayan, nasa screen nyo yung itsura ng document file. Ni-screenshot ko lang siya. So all you need to do is fill out the boxes na nakalagay dito depending on what applies on your enterprise. So, kapag hindi siya nag-a-apply, lagay nyo lang NA. So, ayan ang quarterly PEZA report. And now, for the annual PEZA report, this file is the most numbered pages. So, mga nasa 24 ata ito or 26 something lang. So, this is filed 90 days after the end of the accounting period. So, ayan siya. Annual PEZA report. So, parang same lang to nung sa quarterly PEZA report. But their difference is mas may in-include na din kasi ditong balance sheet, income statement na ilalagay nyo. Yan, pati yung equity. Yan. Liabilities and stockholders equity, yan. Need nyo yan. Kasi sa quarterly, wala yan eh. Hindi yan naka-breakdown doon. So, kailangan nyo siyang ilagay dito. So, ayan. Meron din siyang definition in case you are not familiar with the words used under this file. Pwede kayong mag-base dito sa definition to know what to encode or include on the file bago kayo mag-submit sa PEZA. So, ayan. May computation din ng net dollar earnings kung may dollars. Yun, may earnings kayo in dollars. Ayan. Meron siyang definition do sa ibang parts, lalo do sa mga magre-require sa inyo ng computation. Ayan. Tapos, meron kapag hindi sapat yung table na nilagay nito, dito sa file, you can add naman. Just add another page and then lagay nyo lang dun yung table. Gagayahin nyo lang siya para madagdagan yung table niya. So, wala naman limit sa pages as long as na-encode nyo properly yung mga necessary details na kailangan para makapag-submit kayo ng annual PEZA report. So, ayan ang annual PEZA report, or sa file name niya, ang name niya is erd.3.f.001. And now, the second to the last file na i-discuss ko is the other income. So, this file naman is a document file din na 1 page lang. So, this is filed 30 days after filing with PIR. So, ayun, ilalagay nyo lang naman dito yung mga details ng other income nyo if you have one sa enterprise nyo. And lastly is the data on revenues and taxes paid. Ayan. Ito naman 30 days after filing with PIR. So, this one naman is in Excel format. So, kung mapapansin, naka-box-box siya. So, ayun, ilalagay nyo lang ulit dyan yung mga amounts na related dyan. Kung ano yung dinescribe na particulars dito, dun nyo ilalagay kung anong amount yan. Like yan, consolidated sales and revenues. Lagay nyo yung amount niya. And please take note that it should be in Philippine peso. Yan, yung currency niya is in Philippine peso. And then, encode the printed name and signature. So, kung online to isa-submit, that this would be an electronic signature. Then, yung position, name of enterprise, and of course, ang pinaka-importante is the zone location. So, that is all for this video. I hope you learned something about this. All the information I presented comes from the official website of PEZA and BIR. So, if you have comments, clarifications, or suggestions on topics you want us to talk about, feel free to comment down below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and always keep safe. Annyeong!